like on a Jupiter or Mars. In other words, hold my hand. In other words, darling, kiss me. Fill my heart with song, let me sing forevermore. You were all I longed for, all I worship and adore. In other words, please be true. In other words, I love you. To the moon, let me play you on the star. Let me see what spring is like on a Jupiter or Mars.